Okay, let's go. Uh, Hello, welcome to my channel. I haven't done a live in a long time, but I'm going to start doing these at least once a week. What I want to get into today, hello if you're new here, I'm Sam. I want to write or come up with a writing idea on the spot using my favorite writing toolkit, which is the Storymatic card game. And I have started a school community where I will be kind of creating a writers group revolving around creative writing. And how I want to approach it is just for a community collaboration of coming up with a plot synopsis for a movie and or a book idea. I think my greatest gift, I would say, is that I can really come up with ideas quite easily. I know a lot of people, they kind of get stuck in their head about it. And the tools that I've learned along the last 10 years have really helped me to get out of my own way. And I want to help other writers, storytellers, and just people in general do the same. And creative writing and writing, journaling in general is the best way to get out of your head or get out of those spiraling thoughts and find something new about yourself that you didn't know was there. And the more I write, the more, as Stephen King puts it, you're excavating a fossil. And the more you dig, the more you realize that's there in your inner world. And that's, again, why I think storytelling is so powerful. If we are confident in carrying narratives, then we know how to challenge narratives in society and challenge the false narratives that we tell ourselves. So I'm going to get started. We're going to do about an hour of brainstorming with these cards and coming up with a unique idea that either I will keep and work on myself or in my writers group on school and on YouTube. Whoever wants it can run with it. I think it's just a fun way to connect over storytelling and to realize that our ideas are endless and they're everywhere. We just have to be able to tap into retrieving them. So without further ado, I'm going to get started and then I'm going to brainstorm live, kind of my process for stringing ideas together and seeing what is intriguing about combining them. So here we go. So this is the Storymatic. Yes, I hope you see that. So with Storymatic, it is created for writers. What I love about it is you take two cards that kind of lead you into characters, and then two cards are kind of meant to lead into the story. So there will be many examples. Like I'll just pull one out right now and kind of go over it. So box of kittens. So that's one. So it's the dark orange card. I don't know if you can see it. Box of kittens. And that would further into my plot. So we're going to do these blind. And this is fun for me. Even if you are working on your own project and you get stuck, it's really fun to just play with the cards and draw an idea that you wouldn't expect would work, and it can really get you out of your head and into the writing. So here we go. I'm gonna pull out this first card, just like an improv show. Oh, politician. Okay, so there we go for character. Here we go. Oh, I hope the live's working. It says error, but we'll just go with it. Okay. Oh, damn it. Politician, no. And pirate. Okay. I'm so lame, but it always just makes me chuckle what you can pull out. Okay, and two more. That one's kind of funny. It says shh, but I want two more. I don't like that one. Okay, everyday ritual is interrupted. Okay, okay, okay. We can still use the sh, but I want just a little bit more to get started. Audible thump outside the car. Okay. It's so funny when you pull these cards out, you can start to clam up because you're like, what? No. It's what I loved. I used to do improv comedy live, and what I loved most about it was getting offers from the audience. They'd shout it out, and you'd have to just be like, "Yep, okay, we're doing that." Stand-up comedians do it as well, which is always fun. And yeah, I think this game and what it does for your brain and writing, it's kind of it's just accepting life and what it throws at you essentially. So just to review, we've got politician, pirate, everyday ritual is interrupted, audible thump outside the car. Okay. I should have shuffled these. I feel like I get pirate a little too often. So we'll see what I can come up with. So right away, before you start kind of getting in your head or thinking about anything in particular, I just like to jot out the ideas. So I'm just going to start typing. So we have pirate, politician, audible thump. Oh, and I'm going to start the timer. Here we go. Timer is on. Audible thump. Bar. Everyday ritual is interrupted. So with writing, or if you want to do improvisational writing, a good way to start is with your premise. So establish what your setting is going to be, either the time period, the specific place of origin, and then you can kind of leap off from there. So what is a setting I would like to see? And this can be any genre. It could be fantasy, it could be sci-fi. I mean, there's pirates in space, who knows? There certainly politicians if you've seen Andor. So lame. And then audible thump outside the car. Okay, so there has to be a car. So that also kind of leads us in. I mean, again, you can change you can manipulate it any way you want. Like it says car, but it could be like a car in Star Wars, you know, like I forget what those cars were, but and then everyday ritual is interrupted. So everyday ritual is interrupted is great because that can lead us into the call to adventure for our protagonists. We just have to figure out who the protagonist will be now. And this is good. Okay, I'm going to just get started. If you're watching this and you want to play with those cards, please do and tell me what you're doing, and then I will go over to the chat and see if anything comes up. I haven't posted in a while though, so I doubt anyone's watching, but if you do watch this, please still leave a comment, tell me what you're thinking. I would love to know. So audible thump outside the car. Again, I don't like to judge my thought process, so I'm just gonna, I don't know why I'm thinking of like Jurassic Park. When they're like in the vehicle, like a huge thump, like something to really throw them off course. So Jurassic Park level thump. We want like a big thumpty dump. Pirate. Okay, so what kind of pirate are they? Because again, there's so many different pirates. They could be like modern day, like 1700s pirates, you name it. Everyday ritual is interrupted. So again, it's like just getting it out. You don't even have to use the story for anything, but you have to just go and lead into the excavation without thinking about it. So everyday ritual is interrupted. So they're so you can do it first person, whatever works for you, like to get you into the state. The trick is to really just hone in on the offers and make them, even if you leave them at the beginning, make sure you round back to them. I want whoever's doing this exercise with me to visualize an audience is already watching, just like a live audience is watching me right now. If I was to do a live improv show, I know they're expecting me to call that offer back. So we cannot leave anything behind. So I'm leading in with the action of everyday ritual is interrupted. And we all have our own rituals every day that we do. And some are kind of sacred. And it's funny what happens when those things are disrupted and what that can do to our behavior. So that gives us a strong action to interrupt. I'm just going to jot down a few ideas and then I'll kind of go into what I'm working on. Audible thump outside the car. Everyday rituals. Mm. T, T, T. I'm really stuck on the everyday ritual, which is fine. Like I'm trying to establish the setting, but again, I'm just not judging what comes to mind. And it's just funny what your subconscious pulls forward for writing. Kind of explain what I came up with in a sec. And what I always emphasize to people, just from what my own experience of pitching at film festivals, the thing you only have like an elevator pitch to really get your story across or like get something exciting cooking. And I always think when I'm writing, what's a story I haven't seen before? Or and so I try to go big and I can always narrow down later. It's much harder to try to expand your writing as time goes on. I always think like go big, go hard at the beginning, and then you can cut the fat after. And again, it's just really about not judging the ideas that come through. Uh, okay, I need another minute. It sounds insane to some folks. I'm going for all the trackers. Like, oh, and I've gotten into writing a novel now. I've stepped away from writing screenplay synopsises. So this is a good challenge for me because again, I'm going right into like a longer narrative rather than like just beats. And writing the scenes in between the beats. So this is kind of a good refresher for me to get to the point, get to the action. So participant. Okay. Uh, It's funny. I have my beats. So I started again writing a bit too much narrative right off the bat because I'm trying to train my brain into getting the novel format. But what I do suggest is doing beats. So listing the actions that lead to the next action just to kind of get your teeth sunk into the story. So I have I don't know why, but when I saw everyday ritual is interrupted, I just pictured a man fixing a cup of tea. And I think in today's world, especially in today's world and social media, I'm always like fascinated by all these videos people do of their like morning matcha or like this is how you really make a coffee. This is my 4 a.m. ritual routine. Like we're I think a lot of us and most of us are creatures of habit, but it's just funny to what our habits say about us and what we get fixated on or what we prioritize. So with this one, I just was laughing because I'm thinking, because again, I just pictured a guy fixing a cup of tea and like taking it very seriously. And so my first line was Charlie Fern was getting ready to steep his tea in the morning. He was dressed impeccably, as always. He was a man that valued rituals deeply, and preparing his morning tea has become the highlight of his day. It's like, why would that be the highlight of someone's day? And then it wrote, after his wife left him 2 months ago, there wasn't a lot to look forward to. So I'm just picturing like this man dressed in a suit. Maybe there's like a lot of gray around him. And then what's pulling him towards this tea? And then I thought back to an example of my own life. There's a tea shop in the city I live, and they used to sell this like very exotic tea that once you steep it, it's a flower and it blooms. Like it like it's gorgeous. Like it just like literally kind of opens up. And at first, like when I first got the image, I was like, oh, maybe I could do like, because pirate 1700s or whatever, like a period piece where politician's fixing a cup of tea and like this is the one thing he does for himself. But that's good. But then I kind of like saw all this gray and this like fuchsia flower because I thought of the tea I used to buy for people at this tea shop. And then I went in a while ago and the person that was serving me was like very curt. He was just like, we don't sell that tea anymore. Don't ask for it. You're not going to find it anywhere. And I was just like, whoa, like, what's this about? And he's like, I think it wasn't sustainable, which is fine, like for sustainability. But it was just his reaction. Clearly, a lot of people loved this type of tea you could buy as a gift, and maybe they just got asked about it all the time. And he just like, it was his strong reaction that it's one of those core memories for me now. Like every time I have a weird customer service experience, having worked in customer service my whole life, I always laugh because I'm like, are you okay? If someone lashes out like that. So I was just thinking he's probably been asked so many times, like, do you have this tea where the flower blooms? And so it's stuck with me. And that's what you do as a writer. You just like store things. Like comedians do it for jokes, writers do it for building characters. So store it all because you'll never know when it comes out. And that's again why I like Storymatic. So I started thinking of that flower blooming, that tea, and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And the fact that he said, like the guy that served me, something about sustainability, I was like, ooh, maybe remembering back, I can put like pirate in there. So maybe it's like illegal to retrieve this flower, like maybe it's worth a lot, or maybe it's tied to a special spot where there's like other things that are illegal to acquire, like pirates, smugglers. So I just kind of went down that route, and then this is what I got. So I kind of just pictured this guy. So Charlie Fern is getting ready to steep his tea in the morning. He was dressed impeccably as always. So just like picturing this man in like a gray suit. Everything's like neatly put away. And then it's like this precious ritual to him, and revealing that like his wife left. Like you might, if this is a movie, you'd probably see like pictures of him and his wife, but she's not there. Or maybe he's like sitting at the table and he's, there's the predictable things you've seen in movies, like the empty chair, whereas like novel, so you can just be like, she left 2 months ago, like give the context. So his ritual was always the same. By the time he reached the office, which was a 10-minute drive away, the tea would be done steeping to perfection. So I love this idea of this man like getting in his car and like kind of that dread we all have of going to work, that commute, and his is a short commute. It's enough for him to steep his tea. And so he like saves this precious moment for when he's like in the parking lot at the office. And he's like, okay, I'm going to count down. So tea was no ordinary. So his ritual was always the same. He reached the office, 10-minute drive away. By then, the tea would be done steeping to perfection. But this tea was no ordinary tea. It blossomed into an exotic flower when it was done steeping. It may sound insane to some folks, but it was a process that kept Charlie going through all of the dramatic occurrences in his life that he himself had no control over. So like his wife leaving and whoever, or we don't even know yet what else has happened to this poor guy. Or is it poor man? Has he done it to himself? He parked his car in the usual spot, popped open the lid to his to-go mug, and looked at the clock. 15 seconds now until the flower would bloom. The timer goes off, and he can feel his blood rush with excitement. And then I kind of like started going to my beats because I was like, I'm getting way too detailed. So retrieving his tea to steep, arriving at the office, puts on the timer. And then he's like having this experience watching the flower finally bloom. Like it's like the highlight of his day. And it's like a sense of awe that comes over him. Almost like the flower is like, it just puts you in a trance. I don't know what the flower's powers are yet or anything like that. But he's high on life in this moment. In this moment, he remembers his past. All of a sudden, there is an audible bang outside his car. So now it's like, all right, let's bring in some other cards here. And then I have the audible bang is, why not pull in more of the cards that we have? So politician, and pirate. So in the audible bang, it's his trunk getting forced open and like a big thump, almost like a body. And then he looks to see who it is. And we're going to infer that he knows this person. And this guy is like dressed kind of rugged, like he's been traveling. And all of a sudden, his old pirate buddy has tracked him down and forced a politician into the back of his trunk. His old life has caught up to him. They're driving to, and then now it's time to figure out where we're going to drive to. Oh, hold on. Turn your phone off when you're doing live. So yeah, okay, we have like an exciting incident right away. We're like, who is this guy with this like weird little flower drink? And now I see the story kind of unfolding. And again, it's like, okay, so it's almost like a tussle, maybe. Like he's like, what are you doing here? Get out of my, like, I built this life. Like, I'm trying to make a go of it. I'm trying to have like some sense of normalcy. And then maybe this pirate friend's like, oh yeah, well, what's that in your cup? Like, clearly you can't live a normal life. And again, what's this flower? It's like this, I think Tolkien calls it like plot coupon. So like giving an object like a purpose. So the flower in this situation that is a tea that blooms and is like the only thing holding him together is our plot coupon. So I'm just gonna make some notes about that. I also like this idea because it's a bit of magic realism. Magic realism is like Harry Potter. So there's like a wizarding world that lives beside the normal world. So we're grounded in reality when we're introduced to the story. I always tend to like lean into magic realism, and I'll get into why in a minute. But I like this idea because everything seems normal. It's something we can grasp if we're watching it as a movie or reading it as a book. It's familiar. We can kind of absorb it. But then all of a sudden there's this like magical element of this flower and like what it's doing to him. We don't know. And then we're kind of getting pulled in. And what magic realism also does is it kind of reminds us that we don't know everything about our world and our society. And if you're like me and you're kind of like into esoteric stuff, it's a fun way to learn about things while you're writing and researching. So if I were to be online right now looking at things, I bet you I could find some really interesting flowers of the past, or present, future. Maybe it's like one of those mushrooms that came on a meteor, or like you could get really crazy. Maybe it's carnivorous. Maybe it like it does enchant you. And what kind of enchantment does it do? I don't know about like magical flowers, but I'm just saying it's nice to have an element of magic in your world, and then it can reveal other things about your characters by being a plot coupon, as Tolkien calls it. Shoot, I'm almost out of time. Okay. Lots of rambling. Okay, so what have I not seen with this kind of film before? Like an exotic object that consumes people. He could almost be like an Indiana Jones of botany. Oh gosh. Okay. Plant. See here. So clearly he had knowledge about this type of flower. So let's put botanist. Maybe in a past life, botanist. Pirate. Botanist. He was a specific type of pirate in his past life. I'm laughing because I did a Storymatic where I drew a pirate, and then he was like an animal smuggler of like exotic animals. And now I'm into exotic flowers. I'd like to place this somewhere where I know they have beautiful flowers but doesn't get featured enough. So I'm gonna say, I think the Philippines would be really cool. Philippines. Or somewhere else that has like gorgeous flowers, somewhere tropical. The Philippines would be cool because you don't see a lot of movies that, I haven't seen a lot of movies in my time that have taken place there, and it's such like there's such a cool history. So I would like to explore that personally if I were to stick with the story. So So tropical, Philippines. And I like that I'm sticking with present day because again, I like he's almost like in his own witness protection program. He like set it up himself. He's like, this life's too crazy. I got to start over and get away from these pirate friends. And then you can bring in tropes you like found family. A lot of the time, if you go and, you know, surround yourself with people like that, they can become family because you go through very challenging circumstances. So we'll learn more about our protagonist through what other characters reveal, also actions. Those are such good stories. I love like History of Violence. You learn Viggo Mortensen's character through his actions. It's like literally revealing who he actually was in his past that his wife didn't even know about. And like what kind of woman would he marry if he's trying to start off his new life to get away from his past life? And how does she play into the story? So these are all the questions we kind of have to answer. But that is the scenario. If I were doing an improv show, this is what I would lead in with. It's like, got a politician in the trunk, and the person from your past has like a gun to your head and is like, hey, you got to help me figure this out. I tracked you down. You're the only person that can help. Bam. Not bam, like shoot, but like bam, like let's go. So, Charlie. Maybe he's working. It'd be kind of interesting. Maybe he's working. Maybe this is in Virginia. Maybe he's already working for the government. That would be good. So again, I'm picturing like I pictured him showing up to the office, so maybe he works for the government now. Like maybe they absolved him of his crimes and brought him in to be, because maybe there's like a threat with these plants that we don't know about. So again, I'm kind of getting into my realm of like what I find interesting. And you can, if you like these prompts, please play with them. This, I'm just going to work this out and see how the plot synopsis can go, and we'll go from there. My time is almost out, but we'll figure it out. Charlie. Virginia got a job with the U.S. government. Job. Haywire. Maybe he thought this pirate buddy he used to have was dead. Yeah, if you decide to bring in the ex-wife or not, that's kind of like a huge tell for where the story's going to go. Is there going to be that like romantic pull, or is he just like done with her? She didn't get me. She doesn't deserve me. I don't know. His government absolved him of his crimes in return for his service and his expertise. Who's the politician? The pirate name. Well, it depends. His old friend. So it's already like got some idiotic elements to it. Like this friend of his from his past is so brash and thinking like he can get away with kidnapping a politician, and then he works for the government. Like he clearly, this guy is a pirate because he's just like doing what he needs to survive or smuggle or like rip people off or take people hostage. Like he clearly is not scared of a high stakes situation. And I think it's good to stick to, it's like find your premise, paint around that, and then let the characters drive the plot through what their needs are. So Charlie's needs are he wants out. So maybe Charlie's actually the one that's going to get something from the politician because he needs, we have to figure out what he needs. And then Logan, I don't know. We'll just, names aren't super important. I can always go back and change them. Logan, pirate from the past. What does he want? He wants, they both can get something from this politician that Logan is kidnapped. So it's almost like it could be like a buddy movie. Could be a comedy, like an action comedy. I don't get like, yeah, there's definitely a sense of like awe and adventure with like the flower, one of like our little plot coupons, that I would like to lead into, and then going on the adventure. What's the significance of the flower to Charlie? Is it going to be like a Pinot Noir to the guy in Sideways? Like, is it like just symbolic of like what is still beautiful about life, even though life's so difficult? Or is it like a therapeutic benefit? Does he need this flower to like actually survive? Like, is he addicted to the flower? I have to establish like his connection, his drive for getting more of the flower. Maybe his supply's running low. It's the last thing he had of his past life. So I think using that could reveal a lot. Logan, and then yeah, Logan wants something from this politician that he's kidnapped that Charlie needs to help him with the politician. So Charlie has to like again either try to fight for this life that he's tried to build for himself that isn't going too well and he clearly doesn't like because his little ritual is the only thing keeping him going, or does he go with Logan and get what he needs from the politician? So what is the need? This is what we will play with. Philippines would be cool. So. I'm just gonna pull one thing up. My mouse has gone crazy. Let's try. Corpse flower. Maybe get addicted to the flower. So maybe he has a health condition and the flower ties into it, or um, yeah, okay, I'm not going to get too stuck on that. I'm just going to keep going. I like the idea of this Charlie character being the straight guy, like the serious, grounded, not grounded, but he's not the outlandish character. It's the people he used to surround himself were. And again, they're pulling from him and causing him to react to things, which inform us, the audience, about who he was. Maybe he's a very violent person. So I'm going to say it's like history of violence beats. This is where movie knowledge comes in. What was the Constant Gardener about? Remember it not being. Okay, so definitely not that. Ah, definitely not that either. Yeah, not like a history of violence, and then like we meet his found family of pirate smuggler people, and then we learn more and more about who he is through the people he used to surround himself with. So the tentative or the temporary title I will give it will be Ritual. And the theme is oops. So the insanity someone would go to protect like a ritual or like some obsessive drive he has with this flower is what I'm going to focus on. And like what the flower is obviously will reveal more about the location, what the themes are, why his wife left him. Okay, so that kind of wraps up my live today. I'm gonna cut it there for now and work on the next video. I'll kind of show up with the rest of what I came up with. Oh my gosh, my bangs are crazy. I would love to know if you did anything with these cards. So again, they were pirate, politician, audible thump outside the car, everyday ritual is interrupted. I think it's so important that we not take things so seriously, especially creative writing. It should be an enjoyable experience. It should be a revealing experience, and you shouldn't judge what comes out. If I like was started writing this and then the flower for whatever reason like, you know, starts attacking people, like who cares, right? Like It's just a story where humans are storytellers, and it's really good to be able to come up with a story on the spot. It's a great skill that translates to all sorts of businesses. Like if you're pitching your business, you need to be able to tell a good story. If you're, it's just a good skill set on the spot to hone. So try it with me if you want. And I'm going to finish up kind of my breakdown. I'll have that for the next video. And then I may keep writing it into like a full submission, just because I seem to be able to do that pretty quickly. And then I could cast it, who my director would be. Like, I love doing that, right? Like, that's the whole point of my Storymatic series, what I love to do with it. But if you really want this idea, you should play with it and come and share what you have come up with. I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for joining me on this live. I do have to go, but I want to do this again at least once a week. And then I will also be making some other vlogs and building out a writing community where we kind of address how you need to fix your nervous system. And then once your nervous system is kind of not fixed, but like kind of dropping into yourself and that trust you can build with yourself and your subconscious, and then allowing the ideas to come through, because you are this antenna and you have superpowers for storytelling that you may have not been able to tap in yet. So let's do it together, and I will see you next time. Thank you. See ya.